the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
Na ukopiemu ewo Greater Accra na enye asem kotoa NPP amanyoko no ede won rally ehye so ewo Madina na enye asem kotoa sanso na NDC amanyoko no led by John Dramani Mahama so ede won ede ehye so na enye asem kotoa na nsem de NDC amanyoko no eka bi na Dr. Bawumia brilliantly Onunso enya abotre a reply no one after the other na enye asem kotoa na obia ede ne rally abano ewieye na after rally no na leader for the New Patriotic Party Dr. Bawumia aboshi ababe piemu ewo Good Evening Ghana oni yewura power adom otere eba be twetwen komo after so the campaign the last campaign abano ewieye why the last rally me no ka say the year share nim say 7 December yebekwa akoto aba na Dr. Bawumia e kan Nsem-Pii na enya asem koto na yemkoni enkoti wa bra no ne power adom otere twetwen komo on live Good Evening Ghana.
The campaign as if he's the opposition against the government. But let's come back into the MPP context.
Yes.
After you were elected as the flag bearer, it was widely predicted, but not many people were sure what will happen to the MPP after they elect the first northern leader, etc., etc.
Yes.
And some people were pensive about the picture that this was going to create. But again, you've done something phenomenal. But at this time, a year after, you've managed to get almost everyone in the MPP at the base, at the top, coming back in. And I'm referring to people who are clearly opponents of your boss and patron Nana Akufo-Addo, who are in the party. I refer to names like Richard Anani and Co.
Yes.
Who are opponents of Akufo-Addo one way or the other. And all of them coming round your campaign to support what you are doing. And at the constituency level, we always read of fracas that have been resolved and things that have happened. People were going to run independent, then they changed their mind.
Right.
Do you have a desk for unity in your office? How integral is that to your work?
Well, I think that as a person, even within my own family setting, I am a unifier by nature. I have grown up in a polygamous family. And my father had 19 children, and I get along with everybody. All my brothers and sisters, pretty much, we get along. And I am very conscious of that. And so uniting people, unifying people, dealing with diverse groups of people has always been something that I have always done. And so in the context of our politics, when, I was elected, I knew that, fighting with a divided party was going to be problematic because the margins in terms of the two parties are always very close. You each have 45, and you have to, look for 10% and from between you. So if you don't have your 45, then you are starting at a big disadvantage. So to give yourself a fighting chance, you have to first unify your party because we had come through a very bruising primary. And so I made it very clear that, to win this election, first of all, we have to unite our party. And the party elected me, and I think I had made the case that I would be able to unite the party because I had no issues with anyone, so to speak. So I was able to reach out and speak to everybody to say, come on, I'm building an inclusive tent. And I want everybody to come on board so that we can transform this country. And I was able to reach out. I visited all my opponents after I won. Usually they said that normally they will come and visit you. But I said, no, I'm not waiting for anybody to visit me. I'm going to visit them and then make the case for them to join me. And so I spoke to everybody who mattered pretty much. And I said, I need your help. I need your help. I want us to come together. And they were very generous. They were very, very generous. And they came on board. And so we have fought this election as a united force across pretty much, So it's been very good. I mean, of course, we're 10 who contested. So far, 9 of us are together. So that's not a bad outcome.
I was going to ask questions about the other one, but maybe we'll talk about that another time.
Yes.
Let's get back onto the campaign. I want to ask you about this Youth Connect you started, because it brought attention for the youth in the campaign, and from that period until about recently, the youth had been a big part of the focus. The NDC, your opponent, had after that done a youth manifesto, and so you had drawn attention to the youth quite significantly.
Right.
But what's going to happen on Saturday, Dr. Bawumia, is that we are going to the polls to go and buy a candidate, not with money, but with our conscience, with our thinking, with our mind, with our soul. When we are buying Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, what quantity, what quality will we be buying if we are urged to buy Mahamudu Bawumia?
Well, you're going to be looking to vote for somebody with integrity. That is very, very important to me as a person, that you work with integrity. You're going to buy someone with compassion. I am very caring as a person. As I say, I have the heart to care about people, whether you are a leper, whether you are a disabled, whether you are a homeless person, whether you are a street child. I care about people's well-being. That's just me. It's just by nature. It's not because I'm in politics. I've always done that. I remember my father once, when I was much younger, saying that, Mahamudu would not be a rich man because he gives away all his things to people. It's not that we're rich or anything, but that is just generally how I've grown up. I've felt like helping people gives me satisfaction. So you'll have someone with compassion. You'll have somebody who works hard. I'm a hard worker. I don't do it in halves. When I am committed to a task, I do it fully committed to working hard to achieve. And I'm a go-getter. I set very, very high goals, as a person, that I want to achieve what, may have not been achieved before. And sometimes people think that, it's not possible. I set these tasks for myself, and I set deadlines, and I say, I want to do this in 6 months. Maybe I'll do it in 12 months, but I get it moving. And so you get somebody who is a go-getter, a hard worker, and I'm very professional in how I approach the things I do. And I'm a team player. I don't think I know it all. I like to listen to diverse opinions. And if you make a good argument, I will change my mind. In fact, when I visited the Pope in the Vatican earlier this year, one of the things I asked of him before we finished the meeting, I said, Your Holiness, you've met all these world leaders, and what advice can you give to me as someone who is aspiring to be a leader? And the advice he gave to me was that I should listen to people before I take decisions, to consider diverse opinions. And I thought that was very, very, very amazing. I mean, it was very, very good. And that's basically me anyway, because I feel like I want to listen to people, look at diverse opinions before I do that. So I think when you're buying, in that sense, a Bawumia presidency, you're buying qualities, as I'm saying, of integrity, of compassion, of high, hard work, of high goals that I'm setting to achieve for this country. And someone who believes this country can really be much better than we are, that believes in the possibilities of transformation, that we can be a part of the fourth industrial revolution. We can do better than some of the advanced economies have done. I really believe so. And I have that hope that we can create well-meaning jobs for our youth. And so I'm very eager to continue what I have started with Nana Akufo-Addo, and to build upon that, and to bring in many new policies and initiatives. So I think that you'll be getting a president, if you vote for me, that is going to lead a major transformation of this country.
Why are those values important to Ghana? Why does Ghana need those values now? People may look at it differently. Why do you think that looking at Ghana is needs, its strength, weakness, its deficit, they need these qualities that you believe that you exhume? How do you make the connection?
I think that it's not about Ghana needing them now. I think Ghana has always needed them. And any successful institution, any successful organization, any successful country need leaders with values, leaders with integrity, leaders with compassion, with high achieving leaders who set goals and leaders who believe in possibilities. I think it's something that is sort of a recipe for success. And I believe that if you put in a leader who doesn't have integrity, who is corrupt, you are not going to go far as a country. If you vote in a leader who doesn't have compassion, then in our situation where many people are outside, are marginalized, you are not going to help the country. If you don't have high goals to achieve for this country, how do you transform the country? So I believe that all these various qualities are needed by our country to make that transformation.
Well, you're running this election against former President John Dramani Mahama. Both of you have a record of being vice president, and he has a record of being president as well.
Yes.
Talk of all the qualities that you talked about for yourself, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Yes.
There's a concern, and I have to say that your government, you and Nana Akufo-Addo's government, is a two-term government,
yes,
but whose quote-unquote sins are being evaluated really in the second term. In these circumstances, to the undecided voter, he's seen your qualities, he's excited by it, he's just 18 years old. He likes your vibe, as they say.
Yes.
What should he do?
Yes, I'm glad you've asked this particular question, because I think so much has been said about it, and it may be very misunderstood in many ways. I keep saying, when you get to the economy, in terms of GDP growth, we've performed better. In terms of agricultural growth, we've performed better than him. In terms of industry growth, we've performed better. In terms of the trade balance, we've performed better. In terms of the current account, we've performed better. In terms of the fiscal deficit, we've performed better. In terms of the primary balance, we've performed better. In terms of gross international reserves, we've performed better. Most of the economic indicators. And we've created more jobs, 2.6 million jobs. So what matters in terms of the data? If you read the data, we have done better. That is just on the economic data, right? You get into infrastructure, roads, we've done more roads, more hospitals, more schools, more courts, more pretty much everything.
So you're saying that if we put the two choices together based on achievements,
night and day,
there should be no comparison.
There is no comparison. Paul, there is no comparison. And this is why I wished he had come for a debate. He ran away from a debate because he knows, or his people should know, that he would have failed miserably.
At the debate?
Completely, because he will be confronted with data. We don't debate in a vacuum. You just can't go and say a yazoo and say something and walk away. I mean, you'll be pinned down to facts, right? I would have, debated him on the facts.
Let me come to infrastructure development. And recently, I don't know whether you've been looking at social media.
Yes.
But they say that Akufo-Addo is commissioning.
Yes.
Mahmoud Bawumia is campaigning.
Yes.
And John Mahama is complaining. That's what your supporters put on social media.
Yes, the 3 C's.
Yes. But here's a question. The people are saying that NPP know that they are about to lose the election. So every day they are commissioning. And the NPP is saying that these projects have been going on in terms of its thinking stages and all for years.
Yes.
You have also been doing some commissions. Are these commissions intended to rescue the party's fortunes?
Well, I think that, Paul, if you look at what we have done, and we, in my office, I must say, started the process of tracking our projects. First with the delivery tracker, and then we upgraded it earlier this year, which we completed, to the performance tracker, which we put out on the net, and everybody can go and look at the projects that we have in the performance tracker. All of the projects we are commissioning today are in the performance tracker. It's just that looks like many people did not pay attention to them, and so once you complete a project, you commission it, right? And this is what we have been doing. But I am glad that people are paying attention to it, because it just tells you the volume of work that has been done. I think a lot of people are now recognizing, paying attention as you are commissioning these. When we put them in the tracker, some of them were completed, some of them were uncompleted, but people generally tend to pay attention to completed projects because they can use them and so on. But I think that is what we have been able to do. We are commissioning a lot of projects across all the sectors, housing, whether it's talking of courts, whether you're talking about public libraries, whether you're talking about sports facilities, whether you're talking about airports, you're talking about railway, across the sectors. It's beautiful to watch, and it's leaving a very solid legacy for Nana Akufo-Addo, very solid legacy for this country, and I think that history will be very, very kind to him.
Let's be wrap it up, but we can't end this interview without talking about free SHS.
Yes.
Most of your party people have been pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
That free SHS has come back right into the center of yet another political campaign.
Yes.
It has inured to your benefit, Bawumia, because the believability factor is with you.
Yes.
You have been part of those who have dreamt free SHS.
Yes.
So it's safer in your hands.
Yes.
But looking at it as you go around the country and see the way people appreciate this policy, how are you exploiting it in the campaign to tell people that you can run it and you can make it better? And how do you look at the impact of free SHS as you are around the country?
Well, Paul, I think this is a major issue for Ghanaians. But generally speaking, we promised free SHS, I think in 2012 and 2016. And I think one of the key reasons for this was the fact that the data, when you look at economic growth across nations, the data tells you that human capital is one of the key factors to economic growth. And human capital is just basically education and skills. So basically we said that Ghana, we were in a situation where many of the youth were not getting to senior high school because of problems of payment, right? So today, we brought free SHS for the last 8 years. We've got millions of people enrolled. When we came into office, for every 100 boys, you had 68 girls. So many girls were out of the loop because parents who could afford to pay were preferring to send the boys to school and not the girls. After 8 years of free SHS, we have, for every 106 girls now, you have 100 boys.
More girls.
More girls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So today, this is why in places like Accra, you cannot find housemates.
Yes.
The parents have come and taken them to school. We have brought in free TVET as well and all of that. But one of the good things about is that the performance of the students in the WASSCE exams has really improved. The pass rate of 64% last year, the highest ever in the WASSCE exams. And now if you look at the quality of education in Africa, 54 countries, Ghana is number 2 in the whole of Africa.
But that's important data.
Yes, the whole of Africa, Ghana is number 2 in Africa. Tunisia is number 1. Ghana is number 2.
So Ghana is ahead of South Africa.
It's ahead of
Nigeria.
Yes. All of them.
Kenya,
all of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we are number 2 in Africa. So a lot of people thought that with free SHS will reduce quality because we are expanding access, right? So that what goes, when we expand access, quality will come down. But we've defied gravity and we have improved quality and we are now number 2 in Africa in that context. So what you are seeing is that Ghanaians have, a lot of people have gone into senior high school. And in fact, in the poorer societies, the highest enrollments we are seeing are from the northern regions of the country. 95%, movement from the basic to senior high school, that's high. That's very high. So you're seeing that the poorer societies, and when I met, as I was going around the campaign, one woman said to me, Phoebe or crutches, right? So,
every house has an educated young
right.
man. Yeah.
So that is the thing. So Ghanaians really hold free SHS very closely. It's one of the most important, if not the most important social intervention in the history of this country, because you are providing people with educational opportunity. So that closes the gap between the rich and the poor. It gives everybody the opportunity to go higher and achieve their potential in life. And so nobody wants to play with free SHS. And